just wait for the live. Welcome everyone. Thank you all for those who've joined the call. Thank you so much for connecting. This is a recorded training session, so for all those who cannot join, worry not. This video will be available very shortly for your consumption. So yeah, let's get started. So today is Thursday, April 15th, and we will be having a Bevy training session. As we discussed and presented yesterday during our kickoff meeting for our 100-day activation plan, we talked about Bevy Virtual as being a central tool for our reactivation of community events. So Bevy Virtual, community leaders and anyone in the Docker community who's interested in organizing a virtual event to use. This is going to be it is a free tool for community leaders to run a virtual meetup directly from your browser. And so Mariama will walk us through the tool, how to use it, and of course, answer any questions you may have. Towards the end of the meeting, we'll have a short Q&A. So with that, I'll hand over the virtual mic to Mariama for our training session. Mariama, over to you.
Thank you, William. That was a great intro. Yes, so like William said, we will be hosting a training today. It will be pretty basic to those of you who have never used Bevy before. For the time being, this will be a weekly reoccurrence. So every week you can find me and Rachel here answering your questions, walking you through Bevy Virtual. But as the time kind of progresses, we will get a little bit more advanced to show you kind of best practices, tips and tricks. So today it's really just a basic one. I pinned a message up top. If you hover over to the Q&A section, which has been enabled, feel free to drop your questions over there. At the end, we'll try to either answer all of those or just get to them very briefly. Okay, so I will share my screen with you all, and I will walk you through your chapter and how that's going to look like and how you can manage it. So each one of you is most likely an organizer on the events.docker.com instance. You all have a chapter. I created an organizer profile for my testing Central City chapter, which is not very elaborate, but there is something. And we will walk you through kind of what can you find on this page? How do you talk to your audience here? How can everything be edited and updated? And how can you essentially make your page look appealing? Ignore this red banner. It is a testing and inactive chapter. It's really just for demonstration purposes. Yours will not have this. So obviously up top, we have the main navigation. From here, you can navigate over to the main Docker homepage, where you can find all the upcoming events, as well as all the other chapters that coexist on the instance. But for your specific one, you have a title, you have a location, you can add some sort of social links where people can reach out to you and say hi on social media. This is not mandatory, but it definitely makes the page look more appealing. Anyone who comes to your page has the option to join your group. What this does is that they become a member of your group and they will automatically subscribe to any upcoming event, well, not upcoming events, newsletters or email communication that come out of your chapter. Each chapter page has also a little subnav that is basically just some anchor links that will take you down to the given section of what this describes. So we have a little about section, we have upcoming events, past events, sponsors, community leaders, so something about yourself, and then some videos and pictures from your past events or something that describes your chapter. Some best practices here. The About section is a great way to welcome your members, to talk a little bit about how your chapter came to life, what were some past events that you hosted, what does your chapter focus on, why do you love Docker, and why they should maybe join your chapter. In the upcoming event section, any future events will appear here. We will create one shortly, so I will show you how does this look like. But we will also have listed all the past events that we held in the past. Obviously, this is all dummy data for testing purposes or for demo purposes. Yours will have actual events that you held in the past. Further below, we have our local sponsors. This is not mandatory. Again, some chapters don't need to have sponsors at all. In this case, we have Docker and Microsoft as an example. Again, I will show you how to set this up as well. And then there is something about you. So our community leader, Rachel, who we have here today with us as well. Something about her, you can have a little profile that you can fill out or not. I can show you how to do that as well. Let's get back to our chapter page. And then you have a way for your members to contact you. So this contact us message would go to whatever email is associated with your profile. And further below, you can have a little introductory video about whatever topic you like. Either might be about yourself, about your chapter, or something Docker related is really up to you. As well as further below, you can have also some pictures that I will show you how to upload. So how to edit all this amazing content. When you are logged into your instance, which I recommend that you do, feel free to go over to your button here, Edit Chapter. So here are all the options that you as an organizer have available to you. So you can directly create an event, send a newsletter, view some analytics, or view the sponsors, or edit chapter. There are two ways how you can navigate here. You can either click Edit Chapter or go through the dashboard. Both will take you to the same place. So since I'm the organizer for Central City, it will only give me the option to manage my chapter and the settings in here. We will go through each tab very quickly, but essentially everything that we saw on the chapter, so the About section, some options for if this is a hidden or not chapter. Obviously, I don't recommend messing with that. Essentially, your location, the region that you fall under, if you would like to have the option to use external ticketing or not. You can upload a banner and a thumbnail picture or a logo with the specifications of the dimensions, and then you can link a feature video from YouTube, for example. Further below, we also have the options for social handles. So these are the little icons that would appear below your chapter name. You can fill out your Twitter handle, your Facebook or Instagram handle for better discoverability. Once you update your chapter and make all these beautiful changes, you can just go ahead and save it. It will give you a little prompt that your chapter has been saved, and then you can immediately go to View Chapter to see your changes. All right, so what else can I do from my dashboard? So I have here a couple of tabs. We will go briefly through every one of those. Oh, but before that, I forgot to show you how to upload photos. So if you have any pictures from any of your past events, can be in person, but can be also virtual. It can be maybe like a grid of people just smiling at a camera. Feel free to drag and drop them in here. I think it's a nice addition, you know, that you have an active and vibrant community of members who like to engage with you. And you can just save those right here. So what else do we have here? So we have our analytics tab, which will kind of give you a brief overview of how many events did you host in the past or at a given in a given time frame, how many people have come to your events, and you know how many people came from Meetup, how many people actually checked in, how many of those were unique attendees, and so on. Again, since this is a demo chapter, the data is pretty empty or flat, but if I should show you an example of how this looks like, I could maybe show you the leader chapter, to which event you responded today. So for example, yesterday we had an event, and for this month in total, we have 4 events scheduled. And once your attendees start growing, it will be sort of a graph that will show you, you know, how many unique attendees there were, how many check-ins there were, how many attendees total, and so on. So over time, this will kind of show you beautiful data that you can track, how many people came to your events, how successful they were, and so on. Okay. Events is the next section we will be talking about. So this is where you can see an overview of all your live events that are upcoming, any events that you might have in draft, all the completed ones, as well as the ones that you cancel. In Bevy, you cannot delete events per se, but you can cancel them, so they will just disappear from any of your upcoming events. So we tested quite a bit here. We have 31 completed events with very few attendees. Then you have the email section. Here we will talk about writing custom newsletters. It will also give you an overview of all the automated emails that were sent out that are linked to your events, and it will give you a brief statistics on open rate, click rate, as well as deliveries. So based on how many people decided to attend your event, you can also see how many are engaged with your automated emails. We will do a brief demo of how to write a custom newsletter, who to address it to, and so on. Next, we have our member tab. Here you can see at least the names of all the members of your chapter. As you can see, I don't really have many. I'm not able to see their email, but I'm able to communicate with them through newsletters. I can see their join date as well as when they registered, or how many events they registered for, my bad. I'm able to view their public profile if they maybe added some information about themselves, or I can just click on their name. So I can look up what Rachel has been up to, for example, and it will give me a brief overview of how long she's been my member in my chapter, how many chapters is she a member of total, as well as how many events she attended over a period of time. So it will give me a list of how many events she attended, how many she only actually checked in, and if there were to be any paid tickets, also how much you spend on my events. So this is a good, I would say, overview of, seeing what your members have been up to, if this is data that is interesting to you. Settings, we already talked about. And then lastly, sponsors. So this is something that's not mandatory, but it is possible that you might have sponsors for your entire group or chapter, or for your events. I will show you shortly how to set this up on event level, but essentially here you can just come and add a new sponsor. You fill out their information, their link to their website, a brief description. You can upload a logo, and then maybe some contact information if it's relevant, and you just create your sponsor. In this particular case, we have two example sponsors, Docker and Microsoft. If I click over to their information, I can just see everything that has been filled out. If my sponsor is no longer relevant, I don't want them to appear on my chapter page anymore, I can simply drag and drop them. Oh, did my computer just freeze? I should be able to drag, oh, yep, sorry, little lag. Drag and drop them under the inactive sponsors. But my computer doesn't seem to like me doing that, so I will leave it. However, okay, let's do a quick check if we have any questions. Is everything clear? Oh, okay. Sangam, I see one question. When we schedule meetup and then Bevy generates the link to join this before 15 minutes, how can we use this for meetups? Question 2, link will not be valid after the timing of event, and we all know sometimes it takes long time because of speaker delay or other reasons. Okay, so actually we have changed the 15-minute ability to enter an event. You can actually join a Bevy Virtual event, if I'm understanding your question correctly. So feel free to elaborate. But you can join a Bevy Virtual event up to 1 hour before start if you would like to do some tech checks, or if you would just like to make sure everything is working as is. And then you can set you don't need to limit your tickets, or like people should be able to join your events also after the event starts, as long as you don't limit your tickets as to how long people can register. And I can show you this in a second here. They should be able to join even past your event start. All right, so event creation. You simply come to your events tab. Okay, great. Love that sponsors work for you. It must be just my browser thing. So to create an event, simply come to your events portion and click on a new event. Here we have a couple of event types. Obviously, the virtual one is the case that we will be talking about today. So I will click on my virtual event type, and here I can fill out a plethora of information to make my event look beautiful. So I will call this event Training and Q&A. For my short and long description, it kind of tells you where this appears. So one will appear on chapter page and newsletters, and the other one will appear on the event page. And I will kind of show you as well what is the difference between your chapter page as well as the event page. So this training is for Docker organizers. And you have some more formatting options in the longer event description. So here you can, bold or underline or link your copy. You can make it H1 and H3. You can align it or format in different ways. So if I were to do a brief bullet pointed list just for demoing purposes, I can do that very easily. I have also the option to show the short description on the event banner if that's what I like. Further below, you can decide if you want to show this event on chapter page. So for example, you think that you would like to just test and see if your event works, or you would just like to create a hidden event or so. You can tag this or not if you want people to see your event or not. So I do want this to appear on my chapter page. Since my whole chapter is marked as hidden and a test, this will automatically be will be checked. But in your case, all of your chapters are public and active. You should have some more options and some more wiggle room today. So I do want my event to show on the chapter page, and I also want to, let's say, allow automated emails. But actually, I don't want to trigger all my members, so I'm not going to take that for now. I can upload some creative, some either Docker provided banners and thumbnails, or I can leave this as is, all depends up to you. And then here I come to my scheduling and agenda. So I will set my event date start as well as event date end. For this purpose, we are 12:20 p.m. I will be talking about this for a second. So let's say 25, and then the end date is fine as is. I need to make sure that my time zone is correct, and then I can create an agenda. There is a little magical button in here, which will help you to auto-populate your agenda. So if I click on that, it will most likely gather some past data that I've been using a lot. In this case, it's just some generic words or generic event types that I've been using. You can elaborate on your agenda beautifully, actually, as it was done by Rachel for this Docker event, for example. So the agenda here was pretty elaborate, and it gave everyone a good idea of what the event is going to be about. So you can do the same. It will make the event look more appealing to your audiences. Example. You can add as many items as you want, and you can segment your agenda based on the duration to as many increments as you like. Okay, we'll leave this for now. Okay, virtual event platform. Here I can select if I want my event to be hosted on Bevy Virtual or if I want to use an external URL. In this case, we are going to use Bevy Virtual, as I'm going to show you as well, how does the interface look like, what options do you have within, and so on. But you do obviously have an option to use an external link. You can add some instructions for people to join. Join here. I will show you how does that look like as well. And then I can either save my event as a draft, or I can publish it. As you can see, a generated permalink was created as well, or I can go through my next steps of event creation. So I will go to my next tab where I set my people, meaning my speakers and my hosts. So I will set myself for this one, and I will set, let's say, Rachel as my host. So these people will appear on my event page once I publish the event. On the sponsor tab, again, I can add all the sponsors that I have set before on my chapter level. So in this case, I think we had Microsoft and Docker available. I can create one or both or none, or I have the option to directly add and use sponsors from here as well. That's applicable for the event. And then lastly, for RSVPs, so currently there are no RSVPs or no ticket set. So here I can label my ticket. I can call it RSVP, or I can call it ticket. You can call it whatever you like. And then you set your limit for your audience. We will talk about limits for Bevy Virtual in a second, but essentially you can set this for 1,000 available. Or if you want a smaller event that's more private, you can set it to 20. It's completely up to you. I'm being generous. I will set it to 1,000. I can have several ticket types. I can have early bird tickets. I can have hidden tickets. I can have tickets that require an access code. To set this up, you simply go over here and click on the little wheel, and you can set an availability. Again, this was, I think, concerning one of those questions in chat. If you set your availability date before your end start, people will not be able to join after your event starts. But if you maybe set it in the future, or you don't have to set it at all, people will be able to join your event at any point. If you want to gate people from joining after start, this is where you would probably set availability ends so that nobody can join after your event starts. Or pretty much is like limiting or gating people from joining your event or having control over that. You can set a ticket description if you like. You don't have to. You can enable a wait list when your ticket is sold out, and then you can hide this ticket type if you like to, and you can create an access code which will then populate at the end of the URL here. So I will call mine test, and I will enable 5 of these tickets. For example, if I want some VIP people or something like that to join, I can do that. All right, so now my event seems pretty set. I have my general information, my people, my sponsors, my RSVPs all set up. So I'm ready to publish my event. I can preview it if I like, or I can save a draft and publish it later, but I'm pretty much ready to go. So I will publish my event. Here is when your chapter is linked or synchronized with Meetup, you have the option to announce your event or Meetup. I currently don't want to do that, but if you are still using your Meetup group or you want to leverage the audience and the members you have over there, feel free to do so. And so Bevy will push all this information over to Meetup and will generate a separate event over there. So we don't have to do double work, essentially. Oh, I didn't name my ticket. Let's call it hidden ticket. I don't know. Okay. Publish. Nope. Oh, come on. Oh, okay. In the past. So close. This is what happens when you try to time things perfectly. All right, my event is published. It is available. I can join it already because it is the time of my event as well as the time of my location. But I wanted to show you a couple of things here. So now that my event is created, I have a permalink. And actually, I will drop this in chat if you want to join me in this event and just like play around and test things with me. I will join this shortly. And there are a couple of new things that have come up within my event. So I have the list of attendees. So once someone checks in for my event, I will be able to see the list. I have my forms. So I have my post-event and pre-order form. I have my discounts if I want to create any discount code in case it's a paid event. I have a wait list if that's what I chose when I was setting up my tickets. And I have also a list of my featured attendees about which I will talk about in a second. So when people are signing up for your event, they have the possibility to request to become a featured attendee, which is a kind of a gentle nudge or a friendly ask to be featured as a speaker, or maybe they'll have a story to share or an experience to share. You can leverage this feature or you don't have to, but the option is there for them to do so. For today's event, for example, we had 2 feature requests, which I approved. So how this will look like on your event page, for example, if I scroll all the way down below my sponsors, I can see that Carolee and Karan filled out my feature attendee form, and I approved them. I will show you how to do that in a second here. And then I also have my email tab, which will kind of tell me that my new event is scheduled for April 15th, which is today, and this email will go out in an hour. All right, anyway, let's go back to our event and let's see what happens. Okay, great. 2 attendees, love it. Thank you, guys. So I will go to my events page, and this is a very similar composition of to your chapter page. If you chose the same creative or if you didn't choose any, it will just mimic your chapter page essentially. Again, your social links are pulling from your chapter page. I have the option to RSVP, which I will do in a second. I have my agenda that I set when I was creating my event. I'm the speaker, this was the event description, and my agenda and kind of when the event is happening is further below. I have my host, my Rachel, and who is also the community leader. So if you are the chapter organizer or if you're a chapter lead, you don't have to fill yourself out as the host, because then you will appear twice, obviously, but up to you. I have my local sponsor and then the generic Docker page footer. All right, let's RSVP. So I decided to RSVP. It will pull my profile information. I can fill out whatever else is required of me here. Oh, it's a drop down. Let's say, perfect. Developer, United States, terms and conditions, privacy policy. And you have also the option to tick this box if you want to be added to the chapter or not. I can do that. And then I submit my form. Oh, come on. Great. So now it says that my RSVP is confirmed. I have here my little instructions that I filled out during event creation, where I can join the virtual event. But I have some options here. So one, I can add this event to my calendar, and it will give you the options of all the calendars there are. I can let people know that I'm attending this event, and I can share it in social media if I like to. Or I can fill out a request to become a featured attendee. So once I submit this, as you can see, if I go back to edit event, these people will appear on my featured tab right here. Thank you, Gaurav, for filling that out. If I want to approve them, I can simply click on featured. I can click on their name and save this here. And now if I go back to my event page, I'll be able to, if I refresh, I will see Gaurav at the bottom of my page as my featured attendee. So people know that he's coming and he'll be there. All right, so now that I RSVP'd, I added my event to my calendar, I can join my event because it's happening right now all the way until the evening. So going into the Bevy interface, you've all went through this process already. When joining today's event, you have the option to join your event or test your audio and video. This test check just gives you kind of basic, some basic checks on your camera and audio features. As you can see, now my camera has been pulled over by Safari because the two browsers don't like each other. But essentially, it will tell me if I'm able to join my event and present or not. Okay, I'm back. If there are any problems, the browser will also steps.
Hey, I jumped in because when you ran your tech check, it overrode you. I wanted to make sure it didn't override for everybody else. So I could see you talking, but I couldn't actually hear you because I think the test was still running. Oh. So I wanted to make sure everybody else had that experience. Can you just go back for the last 20 seconds or so?
Let me rewind. Thank you for the reminder. So I was basically just saying that once my test is running, Safari browser probably just took over my audio and video while it was checking if everything is in order. If something was not in order, it would give me some steps and recommendations on how to troubleshoot. Karoli, to your question, when that sign-up page goes away, how can you add your event to the calendar later? So normally you would receive an email with a confirmation of your order. And from that email, you also have the options to add your event to the calendar. Let's see if I can find an example email among my emails real quick, because I was doing some. Okay, so I received my order confirmation for this test event that I created. It will give me a summary of everything that will be happening during this event. And I also have here the option to add this to my Google Outlook, iCal, or Yahoo calendar. And it will also give me all the additional information as to where to join, the URL, the agenda, what's the event about, and so on. I hope that helps. Perfect. Great. Where were we? Safari. Okay, so now that I did my test check, I can always redo this test check within the event, and I will show you how. I'm ready to join my event. Okay, so here as organizer, it's giving me a prompt if I want to enable or dismiss my audio and video. I will dismiss it for now because it will probably kick me from this event that we're recording, but you get the idea. You have the option to become a presenter whenever you like as an organizer. All right, so this is the interface we're in now. I feel like there's not that much to do. If you are a presenter, you have a couple of options here. Actually, let me try and do that and see if it won't kick me. So you have the options to unmute yourself, turn your video on, share your screen, record, or leave the event. You have also the option to select your outputs if you're using multiple devices, such as a headset or an external mic, if you have a good podcast setup or something like that, or an external camera for different angles. So all those settings will be available here for you. I'm not going to turn those on because I'm worried that it will kick me from here. If I want to share my screen, well, okay. If I want to share my screen, it will simply just share my screen. But if you are in Chrome, it will give you the option to select either your desktop. So if you have multiple monitors, you can choose which one you're sharing. I can do this within this event, actually. Let me do that. All right.
Hello, me again. When you clicked your audio, I think you changed your device.
No, but I don't have multiple devices. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're super low.
As in like muffled?
You're okay. I'm going to turn it up.
Okay, can everybody else hear me?
Yeah.
Yay in chat. However, so I'm sharing.
I think the audio is very low. Maybe you have to come back to the original state.
Yeah, Mariama, can you refresh? I just think when you updated your audio, when you click the button. So y'all, this is one really cool part about browser-based, right? We know something happened there. We don't know exactly what it was, but we know we can fix it. Even as the primary host of the event, Mariama can just refresh her browser. The event stays live for us. We're all good. We can still hang out in the room. It's essentially as if she walked into the hallway to fix it. So the event won't end. You can refresh at any time. You should be good.
Better now?
You have to crank your volume.
That's so weird. It was working just fine before. You know what? Let me get out of that test event. I will demo everything else in this one. I think that might be.
There it is. That fixed it.
There you go. Okay. So no more demo, but we'll do that here. Whoa. So much frantic clicking. All right, so what I wanted to demo here, and I'm not sure it will actually appear, but essentially when you click on this stop sharing or start sharing button, it will give you options to pick your desktop, your browser tab, or your application window. You can share your Spotify browser, for example, if you want to play some music for your attendees while they wait for the event start, which I think is great, by the way. We do recommend using the Chrome browser for all Bevy Virtual events, but you could technically make it work in other browsers as well. It might not just be as smooth, but Chrome works the best. Always make sure it's up to date to its latest version, and so on. Okay, so if I stop sharing for a second, for example, depending on how many presenters I have in my event, so right now it's me and Ajit, the screen will split. If Rachel decides to come on, or if I make her presenter, or the more people I have in my event, it will grid just like in a typical Zoom call. Yes, Ajit?
Yep.
Okay, great. If I go back to my sharing, I just briefly wanted to talk about all the options in chat we have here. So you can collapse this part if you want your full screen, like just to share the content you're sharing. And I apologize for the inception. And then you have your options for chat. You can see your attendees. You can do breakout rooms, and you have your help section. So in chat, we have the general chat as well as Q&A. This can be, you as organizer have the ability to enable Q&A as well as disable it. I know that all of the conversation has been kind of happening in chat, but if I wanted to ask some questions and be like, hey, what day is it today? My questions will all of a sudden populate. It will probably give you a little red dot here that there's a new question as a notification. And me as organizer or as a host of the event, I have a couple of options. I can either dismiss the question if I don't like it, or if it's a repeated question, or if it's inappropriate. I can answer it live, which I'm doing right now. So by live, we mean during the duration of the event or during my presentation, or I can reply in writing. So today is Thursday, right? Once I do that, my question will move automatically to the answered portion. And if I click on this question, I will see that it has been answered in writing. This is great for quick answers, one-word answers. If you're linking a page or something like that, you can easily moderate through your questions without spending too much time on them. Okay, we have a question, which I can upload, by the way. So for our January event, a few attendees raised concern that they didn't receive a join link 15 minutes prior to the event. How can we avoid that? So normally you should have the link to join in your email confirmation once you sign up for your event. If that is not the case, I would probably have to look at the event in question and see how it was set up and what kind of emails were associated with it. But yeah, it kind of depends on this particular case, I would say. All right, and since I sort of answered live, Gaurav, if you want to follow via email, please feel free to do so. I can click on answer live and this question will just move over to my answer questions. And then lastly, I have my DMs, which will actually follow me from event to event. A friend during one event and I come to a different chapter and I attend their event, my DMs will always follow me around and I will be able to reference my past conversations, which is great. All right, then you have your attendee list, and from here you can, as a host, set who is coming on the screen with you and who is not. As well as you can mute everyone or turn their audio off with this button. You have little 3 dots that give you some more options. So I can mute myself, turn my video off, or stop being presenter. I can invite Karoli here, for example, to become presenter. And when I do this, he will get a little prompt to share his audio and video and join me on screen, for example. He wanted to be a featured attendee. He made the request. So here we are. Welcome to the stage, Karoli. I have also another option here when it comes to chat moderation or just blocking or removing someone from the event. You can permanently remove them from the event, which means they will not be able to join any other Docker events for 24 hours, right? So there are some. Hey, how's it going?
Okay, it worked.
Perfect. So you have some options to moderate your chat, moderate people who misbehave, block their messages, and so on. So for example, if I go back to chat and I would like to delete a message, I can do so. Oops, there was a new message. I will not remove you, don't worry. So if I want to delete a message, again, it will give me a little prompt if I'm sure I want to delete it. Okay, what else? Oh, breakout rooms. So we have the options to do breakout rooms if you guys want to for, like, let's say 1 minute, just to demonstrate how it works. So here you can set how many attendees you want to split people into and how many rooms it will create. So there's 11 of us currently. So I can say I want to create 3 groups of 3 people. Right, so this is where you set the amount of people, and it will automatically calculate how many rooms it will create for you. So I will break us out for a second. I will pull us back in. I just want you guys to experience how breakout rooms work. You don't need to set a time limit if you don't want to. People can manually come back. If you are a host, it will not break you out. You can float between the given rooms and just like go into one and wave or say hi to your participants. Once you get into the breakout room, you will have, as an attendee, you will have the option to enable your audio or your video. Up to you. I'll make the rooms. I'll pull you guys back in just for the experience. I'll see you in a second. Okay, and as a host, you basically can see that 2 rooms were created and who is in each room. And as a host, I can float and I can pick my room. I'm just describing this for the sake of recordings. So if I wanted to join this room, I definitely can just say hi. And if I want to force people to come back, I can just close all rooms and they will all come back.
Nice. Sorry, I keep popping up on you.
No,
15-minute warning.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. All right. Welcome back, everyone. So for the sake of the recording, I was talking about what happens from a host perspective when you break people up and how does that look like. One important thing to know to calm your attendees, maybe, breakout rooms are not being recorded, right? So you as a host can choose which room you pick, but the breakout rooms themselves are not recorded, just to allow some audience interaction that's private and uninterrupted. Okay, some questions. We have 15-ish minutes left. I will try to go through things as quickly as possible and include your questions. How do I change my chapter status from test chapter to active? Marcelo, what is your chapter? We can do that right now, or just feel free to reach out to Ajit and William. It is a simple toggle on your chapter setting. Tandil. Okay, let's do that. Let's stop the inception here. Oops. Okay. All right, so simply by toggling this, your chapter is active. It just will include the data from analytics. Okay, you should be all set. Thank you for that question. How can we select admins and speakers to the virtual live event? Where can we give access to the event with attendees, camera, and or audio? Great question, Carolee. Thank you. So admins and speakers. So admins would be set on the chapter setting level. If you want to promote anyone within the event from the attendees, you simply turn their presenter mode on, and it will prompt them in the same way as it just prompted you to allow your audio and video. They need to make sure that they enabled their browser setting to allow camera and microphone. If you want someone permanently to be able to host your events for your chapter, I would raise this with Ajit. They would need to be added to the team page under your chapter settings. I don't think you guys have currently the permissions to manage that by yourselves. But if you want someone to be permanently your host or your organizer as help or something, then you can do that with the help of Ajit. Or you can guys always email to help@bevy.com to have any sort of permission issues sorted out.
Yeah, sure, Mariama. I will just, after the call, I will just sync with Marcelo and then get it done.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so just to cover what I wanted to cover for the purposes of our training. So I ran my event. It was a great success. It's still live, but actually I'm like done with my event, right? I want to force kind of the end of it because I want to see my wrap-up tab and so on. So I can go back into my event settings and I can force the end of it. So it's 12:50. Okay. Since this is an event that has ended, once I refresh my page, what will happen is I will have my wrap-up tab, which will give me a summary of my event. I will be able to upload any pictures from my event. So this will now be moved under my past events, and I can add some featured videos, the recordings, any slides that I presented, whatever I like. Additionally, I can also send an email to my attendees with the given event. So in order to send an email, just real quick, I can just go ahead and create a new email. I can say, thank you for attending. You can select a Docker-related email address, whatever email you're sending this from, and I can address the audience that I want to address, right? So I have a couple of options here. I can speak directly to people who checked in, so I know that they came to my event. I can speak to people who only RSVP, but I'm not sure if they came. Or maybe I can address people who did not come or didn't show up. Depends. Once I do that, so let's say people who checked in. Oh, no, this was a subject line. Okay, so my chapter, I have my subject line, and then my messaging. I can drag and drop images in here. I can customize my body, the body of my newsletter as I wish. I have the same formatting options as before. I can add links, or I can make this a heading if I want to. Basically create a very simple email just thanking people for coming. If I had any upcoming events, they would all show up here, and I would be able to pick and choose which one appear, meaning maybe a newsletter type of email is something that I use to invite people over to my next event. I can add my sponsors. What's Docker one of my sponsors? Not sure why that's not pulling. Oh, local sponsor. There we go. Okay, and then again, I have some options here. I can either save my email as a draft, which is now saved, great. I can preview it, so this is how it will look like in browser. It's not great, I could have done better, I know. Or I can send myself a test, right? So it will automatically pull the email that's associated with my profile. I can just send it to see, or I can go ahead and schedule it. Again, it's not recommended probably to send emails immediately, but I can say that I want this email to send tomorrow at 1 p.m., for example, as a gentle reminder for people, you know, that I do care about them. And once I click on schedule event, I have to select the event this is related to. So once I schedule and send, it will be all queued up for send tomorrow. Let's not do a midnight one. 3 p.m. Perfect. Okay. And now I can see that my email is scheduled under emails, and it's set to send tomorrow at 3 p.m. I can edit it from here, or I can cancel if I change my mind, which I did. So I'm just going to delete it. And now it's gone. Yeah, schedule email, that's new for me. Great, we learned something new. Okay, let's do a couple of questions. I know we have only a couple of minutes. Marcelo, Ajit will figure out your permissions. Can you check Vienna, Austria also? I'm secretly added there. Have no clue when and why. Probably from okay, so Adina, you say that you have permissions for chapters that you don't need. Is that correct? If you put any name instead of second notes to discuss them with me. Okay, let's see. Not that. Okay, can you type in chat, what do you mean? Or can you just email? Yeah, Rachel will review those. Perfect, thank you. Any questions related to the training or to functionality? We talked about editing your chapter, editing newsletters, creating events. Are admins and presenters with the same rights? Yes, so the difference between admins and presenters essentially is that I would be considered an admin, Ajit is an admin, we have access to all of the chapters, right? So there's like this huge list. As a presenter or a lead organizer, if you will, you mostly have access to only your chapter, to which you are a presenter by default. If you want to add some other friends to be presenters and organizers with you, again, it would be more of like an admin request to add some people to your team page. Currently, you guys don't have permissions for that, but it can be all sorted out. Hey, Adina.
There was a girl at one point, she organized an event.
Okay.
And I went to it, and I said if it's something that she need, I can manage the event. I can do almost. No, I'm not saying anything, but I can do the same as the other chapter from Romania. But it's appears somewhere that I'm secretary, so I don't have a problem with doing secretary. I can do voluntary, but it's, yeah, if it can be changed to something else.
What is the chapter in question where you appear?
Vienna, Austria. So yes, I also so talk with two guys that were asking when we do the next event, and before all it was locked and so on. So yeah.
So you mean like your title should be something else?
No, that's okay. I have a selecting select role, and it says I'm secretary there. Or
But I think the best thing to do here, send Ajit and all of us, send us a link to the page where it's displaying wrong so we can find it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a presenter. Or okay.
I will.
It says I'm community leader there. Okay. Yeah, because someone wrote that. Could it be on the meetup page? Let me check.
Oh, if there's something on the meetup page that's not showing right, so unfortunately we don't have access to that. Yeah, I would just think email Ajit. Would that be correct?
Yeah, I think it was there because there were some nice people asking for next events and so on, and I wanted for workshops. Yeah, they saw that I'm the secretary. Yes, yeah, I think it's here. Organizer and 3 others.
Yeah, it shows as a community leader, right? So I think you are referring to meetup.com page. So
yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It says assistant organizer now. Maybe it was before translated in other language. Now I have it in English. I don't know. It's kind of the same. Doesn't sound that bad. Secretary sounded very bad for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sure. Yeah. Also, they were not responsive in the last three years, and so they are nice people. I would say I know them only once in person, and her brother I met him at different conferences. He's very involved in community stuff and so on. So yeah, but anyhow, I got it. Okay,
perfect. Thank you, Adina. Thanks for your input.
It was on the meetup page. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, we don't control that, but I'm sure Ajit will be able to help. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, we are at time. I do hope that this training was helpful for you. We will make sure that this recording is distributed after, and we will be here again same time next week. If you have any more questions, or feel free to go and explore your chapter pages, create some events, play around, and let us know what's working well and what isn't. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, PSA, don't forget about the series